apologize. Oh wait, what's that? I'm trying to still figure this out, but we'll see what happens. Look, I'm going to start the chat. I tried to use this the other day, and it didn't work out so well, so we'll see what happens. All right, let me see. So, I hope everybody is doing well. This was very, very, very last minute. Sorry, I'm logging in so that I can have dual or multi-stream chat. So there you go. Hi guys, come on in. Hi guys. All right, here we go. I authorize it. All right, cool. We're good to go. So we have a multi-stream chat, which is really cool. So I'm going to try to write hi and see how it looks. Oh, look at that. It comes up on Twitch and YouTube. So welcome in, you guys. Hi, everyone that's here. Okay, so today I put together, am I feeling any better? A little bit. I have no makeup. I'm like, you know what? I have my tissues. I'm like, I just stopped getting ready, Shelly. I was like, we'll love you whether you're done up or not. And I was like, I'm just going live. So here I am. Hi, Case. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. So, ooh, do you guys remember the Casey Anthony case? Hi, Harlot. Good to see you. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. You're so amazing, all of you. So, I don't know why it's not going up the side. I'm still getting used to this crap. This, what is it? Not StreamYard. I have, what the hell do I have? Oh, Streamlabs. I almost forgot what it was called. Oh, there we go. There goes our chat. Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so let's talk about Casey Anthony, you guys. So we found out on here. Hi, Renee. Hi, Andrea. Come on in, you guys. Welcome. Oh, you guys make it so much better that I wasn't feeling so great. Look who everybody's coming in. Hi, guys. Yes. So does anybody, I don't know how old everybody is here. I'm 47, so I'm from the Nancy Grace days when she was like, chop mom, and she would get like so mad. Oh my God, it was great. So I was like doing, I was like, I have to like show stuff because I don't want to just talk, especially because I don't feel so great. So I was like, let me look. And I was looking around and I found some really cool old Nancy Grace videos. So we are going to take a look at that. I just have to figure out how to do it. Oh, I know how. Hold on, I remember. I like practiced all of this. Hi, Renee. You're 54? Look at you. I love it. I love that. All right. So we have, all right, I have it on share window. I just did this, you guys, so I know that I know how to do this. I'm not going to get nervous. I'm just going to open this up. I'm just going to do it. Watch this. Here we go. Oh, I think I have it. No reason to get nervous. Top mom. Here it goes. That's funny. Okay, let me see. So we're done with that. And let me get it. Okay, so Happy New Year, you guys. Hi, Thomas. Coming in, Thomas. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Mitch. Casey's 42. Look at you, youngin'. Casey's the baby, you guys. We have to make sure we don't curse. I'm just kidding. I thought she was calling her top mom sarcastically till I listened closer. It's because I don't feel good, Arlet. No, top mom. Nancy Grace would go crazy and so I just found this playlist and I thought it was really funny. So you're 60 if we're telling our age. Thank you for being honest, everyone. Duke, we have 45. We're all like around, all like, we have a pretty good group here. I love it. Nice. So
is that how you interpreted their comments, that they were naming you as a potential suspect to police?
Well, I mean, their actual statement to police, Cindy does directly mention me as the person she thought was Zanny, the person who was watching Kaylee.
Okay, so let me just like set this up real quick. So this is Jesse Grund, and he is Jesse Grund is Casey's boyfriend, and Casey is, I believe, what was she, like 21, you guys? She was younger. And Kaylee was what, 3, I think? And the baby, I almost said the baby goes missing. We know that the baby didn't go missing. But Casey takes her and says that she's with Zanny the nanny, who I want to know what you guys think. Hi, Daniel. I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Zanny the nanny, who do you guys think Zanny the nanny was? We obviously know Zanny the nanny's made up because they looked and there was nobody there that lived at that apartment complex named Zanny the nanny. But do you guys think it like stood for Xanax, or do you think like she just saw the name Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez somewhere and used that? Like, what do you guys think Zanny meant? And do you think that she just also used it? Because this was the thing. By having Zanny the nanny, she was able to make her mom happy, at least enough that her mom was like, oh, you're at work, and while you're at work, Zanny the nanny has Kaylee. And same thing with her friends. Like, even when she goes missing, you will see in one of the videos, they ask one of the friends, like, did anybody ask where Kaylee was? And he's like, yeah, I did. And she said that she was with the nanny for the weekend. So she used it with friends and family. So it was active for her. And we also know that she didn't have a job. People are saying Xanax. Nancy, what'd you say about Nancy? I love Nancy. It's okay though. She like yells at people. I used to have like nightmares, and hi Tropicana. And my husband would be like, stop watching Nancy Grace. She like yells at you as you're falling asleep. I'm like, I know. He used to say goodnight to both of us. All right, let's see. So this is Jesse Grund, Casey's boyfriend.
And that was after she actually had the meeting with Casey in the jailhouse.
Why do you believe the Tot Mom would go to the trouble of saying, I don't trust him?
That's really something you're going to have to ask her. Nancy, to be honest with you, I don't know that person. The person that I was with and the person that sits in that jail, I don't know her.
Tell me about the person you thought you were with. How is she different from the Tot Mom we've come to know?
Casey was a totally different person when we were together.
All right, ready, you guys? Sit down for this. He's about to describe Casey in a way that most of us, this is the thing. I found that if you're young, and I don't know if we have any youngins in here, a lot of times my students will be in here, but people of like my students' age, my daughter's age, I feel like they give Casey a little bit of like the benefit of the doubt, what's happening. But I feel like if you're 40 or older, you remember the case as her being the one that was completely, lying and stuff like that. But wait, ready to hear how he describes her? And keep in mind now, we're talking about, and again, I'm not diagnosing you, Casey Anthony, if she ever hears this, but let's look at personality characteristics, and we see a lot of narcissistic ones. So just look out for those things when people are too good to be true. These are usually very charming people that are easy to manipulate and get over on others.
She was a loving mother. Her life revolved around how she was going to be a mom. Her career as a photographer, which is what she wanted to do.
Whoa, career as a photographer? From all I know, she sat on the sofa for the last 2 years.
I'm not saying she hasn't sit on the sofa.
Career as a photographer?
Hey, Nancy, I'm not saying she hasn't sit on the sofa. What I am saying is that when we were together, she worked for Kodak, as we all know, and she wanted to further that as a career as a photographer. She did have a job all the way up until April of 2000.
So is this Jesse Grund right here, you guys? And he like proposed to her, I believe. But he's not the father of Kaylee. Nobody knows who the father of Kaylee is. to this day, even the parents have no idea. And they said, like, she'll never tell us the truth, so there's no point of even pursuing it. But that was weird, didn't you guys? Like, I always thought, like, the dad had to be, like, either something really did happen to him, because she says that the dad died in an accident. So I'm like, either something really did happen to him, because nobody comes forward like, oh, I was Kaylee's dad or anything like that, or the person just really didn't put two and two together that they were the father of this person. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. Oh, I keep clicking it 15 times.
2006, which is confirmed.
What did she do for Kodak?
She was an assistant manager for one of their on-site stores that they had inside the theme park.
Are you sure?
Positive. That's where I met her.
Tell me something, Jesse, when you first learned that Kelly was missing, what did you believe?
I didn't believe in my heart that Casey could actually hurt her. I didn't really think that it was anything more than Casey left her at Target or, dropped her off. I didn't know the extent of it.
Why did you two break up?
The first time it was because she thought that, she broke off the engagement because she thought I loved Kaylee more than I loved her, which was the furthest thing from the truth. I loved them both.
You know what? That's the first time
That is so important, you guys. Okay, so as somebody who's has a specialization in family therapy, that was a big one for me. So he just said right there that the first time they broke up. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. So they broke up multiple times, but he said the first time she broke off the engagement because she thought that I loved Kaylee more than I loved her. I want you guys to remember this, because it's my opinion that there's a pattern, and that pattern is similar with the relationship with the mom. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the mom, and how the mom like wants to get custody of Kaylee at some point. I think the baby was a threat, if you will, and a barrier between Casey and her mom. And I think that the grandmom, Cindy, could have very well gotten custody of Kaylee. And I don't think that Casey would ever allow that to happen. Like, ever, in my opinion. And again, this is all just a legend based on my opinion. She was found not guilty of this crime, so I have to say that as well. They tracked that woman down and she didn't know Casey. Yes, right? That's right. And they also said that woman, like the Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, that she like lost her job and stuff. I was like, that's terrible. So that was just terrible.
Thought you loved Kelly more than her?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
You thought initially she was not involved, and I'm guessing that you still believe it was accidental?
That's tough for me to say. I don't know what this Casey is capable of. I know the evidence, of course, points in one direction, but I don't know what she's capable of anymore.
Well, let me ask you this. Search your heart. What do you believe?
I don't mean to jump in, Nancy, but I think that what Jesse's trying to say is his heart is saying one thing and his head is saying something.
Okay, I'm so glad he said that. So the lawyer jumps in because he doesn't want him to answer this, and he says, Nancy, I think what he's saying is his heart saying one thing and his head saying something else. Okay, so let me just tell you guys something real quick. We're gonna have a real quick public service announcement. Ready? Public service announcement. Oh, I wish I knew where. I know that I have like sounds. I don't know where they're at, so but the hell with them. But anyway, I don't need a sound. I don't need a drum roll. But ready for this? When your heart and your head tell you something different, always, you listening? Always go with what your head says. Your heart is dumb as shit. I promise you. Dumb. Not smart. Less than smart. Your heart will be like, but they said they were sorry. And your brain's like, they're going to do it again. And your heart's like, but they cried this time. And your head's like, but, you know what I mean? And you could just keep going on and on and on. You see what I'm saying? So I thought that was funny when I heard him say that. So wait, I want this
entirely
other clip too. So they keep going into that, and I love Nancy's videos. She is so passionate. So here she finally gets a chance to talk to Jose Baez. So we have to see this. Jose Baez is Casey's lawyer, and he gets her off, and he like starts this whole thing about how Casey was molested by George, her father, and her brother. It was horrible, you guys, and it wasn't true. At least they took the lie detector. It said,
We're happy to have with us tonight,
oh
Jose.
wait, look at that. There you go. If Drunk Turkey's in here, you could laugh at that one. I just said they took a lie detector, and there you go. So I can't do it one way, not the other way, right? So that would just meaning that I can't say that he definitely never did anything because the lie detector says that he didn't do anything. And then in other cases, when it's not in my benefit, be like, well, people could pass. So touche on that one. See, you guys, I am very grown up. Like when I have a thought like that, or I realize that there's like cognitive dissonance, I can at least admit it and course correct it, right? It's about being an adult. Hi, Birdie. Come on in. Hi, Renee. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys. Awesome. So I'll go back to over here. I'm done with our public service announcement. So wait, let me see if I could put this one here with, let me, hold on. Let's see, you guys. That way we could get all of us on here. I'm still learning. Look, oh no, I'm moving stuff around. All right, ready? Let's see. All right, then we're going to cover chat. So let's just cover chat for a minute while we have this up there. How about that? See, we have to figure these things out. There's many ways I could do it. I could have put her up here small and kept chat up there. You guys let me know in chat what you want. This is very, very, like, you can do so many different things with this platform. It's just too much, and I'm still learning. I'm trying.
Baez, Mr. Baez, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Baez, it's my understanding that police have discounted the tipster because the tipster, the woman, could not give a flight number or a date for the flight to Atlanta. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all. In fact, we know the dates, we know the airline, we know the destination. So I believe that's all being worked out. This is the first I'm hearing that they've discounted it. In fact, we find it to be a very credible lead because the entire family spoke with Kaylee.
Could you give us then that information, the date, the airline? We know the destination was Atlanta.
Well, unfortunately, I wrote it down and I don't have it with me right now. But I do know that is a very credible lead. And some of the things that what we find very credible about it is, A, it's an entire family. It's not.
So, ridiculous. Further, he's ridiculous.
I find that very, that's a complete dichotomy with what you're telling me.
It certainly sounds that way.
But you cannot remember even the flight number.
That all the information we've been given and everything indicates that this seems to be a credible lead.
Well, sheriff's investigators have told our producers that the tip does not lead them to be optimistic because, again, they state that there is not a flight number, that there is not a date. And I find that very, that's a complete dichotomy with what you're telling me.
It certainly sounds that way.
But you cannot remember even the flight carrier? You don't know if it was Delta or AirTran coming out of Orlando?
I believe it was AirTran.
Well, that narrows it down to just a few flights a day then.
Correct. No, like I said, I wrote it down. I have it in my file. I didn't know I was going to be asked about that, just the exact information. But I know for a fact that we have that information and we're following through with it and following up.
Question. When the tipster asked the little girl her name, did the tipster know that Kaylee Anthony was missing?
No, she did not.
And so she only put two and two together after seeing news reports?
Correct.
Question. Why did she not go to police? Why did she contact Casey Anthony directly?
I believe she tried contacting police through the tip line, and unfortunately we've had a couple of reports that they're not.
Does anybody remember during the trial if they brought this up? Because I felt like they leaned more on the fact that Kaylee drowned in the pool and that George took her and did whatever with her, and that's what Casey's all worried about. And so I don't remember them bringing this possibility up. That there wasn't that tipster, that it didn't follow her. So I don't want to listen to things, something like that where we know that's not. But all right, so here goes another one. So this one's Dr. Drew Pinsky, and
Dr. Drew's new show at 9.
it says Casey's brother. She lied about Kaylee. So I've never seen this. So I'm literally blind reacting to this one with you guys. So let me know what you guys think. I like him. Everybody go to HLN and subscribe. I probably should too while I'm right here. Subscribe. Boom. Done. Like the video. Boom. Done.
Weeknights on HLN.
The nanny named Zanny. Did anyone besides me ever notice the irony in that? Because there's been some talk about Xanax being something that Casey would get involved with. And have you ever heard of Xanabar or Zanny? That's sort of a code or a colloquialism, or what do you guys call it, a name for Xanax. Zanny the nanny. All right. Tonight, Casey's brother Lee Anthony takes a stand. He's also had a very close bond with his sister. In fact, he was the one that she finally told the daughter was missing for over a month. Their mom overheard the conversation, and then a bunch of frantic 911 calls ensued. Listen.
I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just asked her today that I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself.
Oh, it's echoey? All right, let me see. Is it echoey for everyone else? Sometimes I notice with, let me see. Nope, it's here too, Casey. Am I echoey, or is it just the, when I put on, the other thing is these videos are old and I notice that they are weird, but if it's like echoey, I don't want that. I could do without that. Like I could find us, was the other video echoey? Because if the other video wasn't echoey, then I could just pick a different video. I don't know, but you guys let me know. Is it crazy, loud, and echoey? So wait, let me lower it a little. Thank you for telling me that, because over here, you know what? I guess, is that why people wear headphones? Straight A steaming. All right, hold on, I'm lowering the things. Oh, I had something on like 98 or whatever, so that could have been it. Let's see. All right, let's see if that worked a little bit. Just the videos are echoey. I'm fine. Okay. All right, so all right, so let's see. You said videos, plural. So let me try a different video. And if it's still echoey, then I don't know. I'll figure out a different way then. Let me go to like a newer video just to see if it's, because I put in old Nancy Grace videos and these are literally old videos. Like they gave me ones that sounded like they were from a long time ago. What are you guys saying? You aren't echoing, but the videos are a little bit. It's not the regular echo. It's kind of like the echo in an indoor pool. That's why I'm saying let me do this and see if it was an old video. Let's see. We'll find out right now. 3 years ago it was new. We'll do this one. Oh, look. I love her.
Many of you guys are probably aware that there is a new 3-part documentary on Peacock regarding Casey Anthony. In this documentary, she gives her first on-camera interview in 10 years, where she gives her version of events and her story, her truth behind the infamous case of her daughter, Kaylee Anthony.
Okay, so tell me, is Annie Elise, is she echoing? I guess I could also try this too a little bit over here.
Now, it's pretty interesting because she retells a lot of stuff that we already had heard in the trial, but she also drops quite a few new
I know you aren't
bombshells.
complaining.
And I'll
I
be
just
honest,
wanted to
Casey's
be
latest
nice for
interview
everyone.
seems to have dredged up a number of inconsistencies between her side of the story and the one that much of the public saw back in 2000.
So let me, do you guys want me to go back to Dr. Drew real quick? Because I like Dr. Drew too.
Watch Dr. Drew's new show at 9.
Let me know if I did try to
On
correctly. So
HLN.
let me know if I fixed it.
The nanny named
You know what? Part of this, you guys, is just that it's 14 years old. Okay, you guys said better. Just so you know, I think I know what it is, you guys. So I did lower all the things that might have helped, but it's also because this video is almost 15 years old, and in the realm of digital media, that's like ancient. So we have one better, yes, echoey. So Dr. Drew's echoey. Do we still want me to put them on? Oh. See, you guys, I wish I knew. Let me try this other thing here. Why can't we ever have like, well, I can't say that because we did have normal stream. Remember the other day I used, what did I use? I used, it was also Stream Labs, but it was something else. I don't even know what I used last time, you guys, but it didn't look like this. Remember, it looked like StreamYard because I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And I was able to like click on everything and do all the things. Well, I don't know what happened to that. I think, I don't know. Still echoing a little bit. It's very slight. So does that mean that you guys can like deal, or because I don't want it to be yes and yes. So yes, still echoing. Dr. Drew wasn't echoing for you. So sometimes you have to like go out and come back in. I'm going to put him on, but I'm also going to look up my sound settings and look at that. How does this sound? Is this any different? I just did something. You can handle it? Okay, good. Oh, I love you guys. I can't even take it. It's not bad echo. I think it's fine unless it's really bothering people. That's what I was wondering. Is it really bothering people? Because if it is, I totally will find something else. But if it's good. Okay. All right. You guys are great. I don't think anybody's complaining. Trust me. I am not like that. I would hate that if I had like headphones on and I'm listening and it sounded like I was under the water. But I did just do something. So hopefully this fixed it. I don't know. I guess we'll. All right. Let's listen to Dr. Drew. But guys, remember, this is 15 years old. So it does sound a little weird.
Andy, and did anyone besides me ever or notice the irony in that? Because there's been some talk about Xanax being something that
no, what did I
do? And have you ever heard of a Xanabar?
Oh no, you guys. I messed with the sound and now Dr. Drew's like all the way gone. Hold on. That's so funny. Hold on if you can't hear me. Hello, you guys. Can you hear me now? I think I thought I knew what I was doing, and I didn't. I'm like laughing at myself. But hopefully you guys can hear now. Let's see.
Or a Xanny. That's sort of a code or colloquialism, or what do you guys call it? A name for Xanax. Xanny the Nanny. All right. Tonight, Casey's brother Lee Anthony takes the stand. He's also had a very close bond with his sister. In fact, he was the one that she finally told the daughter was missing for over a month. Their mom overheard the conversation, and then a bunch of frantic 911 calls ensued. Listen.
I told you when my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, and I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I got my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the car.
Brutal. Candace, after hiding this for a month, clubbing, pretending nothing was wrong, why do you think Casey finally broke down and admitted to her brother what was actually happening?
Well, it's hard to say. There is obviously a strong bond between them, brother-sister. Maybe she felt she needed to unload. Maybe she felt she needed to give him a clue, like okay, she was, she didn't say, I'm responsible for her disappearance. She said she's been kidnapped. So I think she was more giving an explanation as to why Kaylee wasn't around rather than saying, I did something bad.
All right, Candace, you're a profiler, and I want you to put your money down on one of two bets.
So that was a little bit confusing, but I'm going to keep going just to see.
And if you feel uncomfortable, please don't. But I'm going to give you two options. One is she is a severe narcissist with no empathy, and the child died somehow, and good riddance, versus some sort of fatal mistreatment, an accident, with a moderate narcissist there that she just started lying, covering up, and that was sort of the way she was. Do you have a sense of which one this is?
Take notice either way. He called narcissism, which I called before we started watching this, which is why I'm so glad that I do that stuff, you guys, because then I'll hear if I hear somebody else, I want to be validated, not like I should have said that. Hi, Callie, welcome in. Hi, nonpartisan April. Oh my gosh, you guys, come on in. Happy New Year. Just
Well,
talking about Casey Anthony, top mom.
of course,
Accident or premeditated? I mean, sort of, the question really is it accident and somebody who's not a good person versus somebody who's a cold-blooded killer? Really, that's what I'm trying to determine. What do you think?
accident.
Accident.
If I had
Mark,
to
you
make a
agree
bet, that's where my money goes.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, what do you think about that assessment? Accident and somebody who's kind of, not a great person and parties too much and lies a lot and maybe has some narcissistic tendencies versus a sociopath who can kill somebody because they don't understand other persons really exist.
And just so we're clear, you're asking me personally, Mark Eigler, as opposed to legally, what I think the evidence is showing or can show. You're asking me personally, correct?
Well, let's do both, because I haven't seen any evidence yet, really. I've heard a lot of hearsay and stuff, but you personally and then the evidence.
Okay, personally.
So that's interesting. So Mark Eiglass, he's always on Nancy Grace even after. So I think that it's funny because he would never, ever in like the later years say, do you mean me personally? Or like he would have just went in as the defense attorney, which was funny. What case was he on? Why am I having I'm like looking at him like, why is he so familiar? Or did I see him on?
I think that she learned about the chloroform, thought that would be a cool way to be able to put her child to sleep, and I think that resulted in an overdose. She panicked, and then she did what she did. That's
100% what I also think happened. Does anybody else think that that's what happened? The chloroform. And again, this is allegedly. We have to remind everybody that Casey Anthony was found not guilty. There are interviews since with some of the jurors. In my opinion, I think that Casey's free because they not only overcharged her, right? But and they could have, right? They could have kept those charges, but they didn't have enough. Travis, what would they be called? Not secondary charges because they would still be the primary charge, but they didn't have offenses that were lesser offenses. There you go. They didn't have lesser offenses. So it was almost like all or nothing. They didn't even have you'll see. So I think that really gave the jurors, I can remember back then, and I haven't seen a lot of this footage since back then. It wasn't until I put it the other day on my community post, and everybody, not everybody, but almost half of the people said this case, so we're doing this case. But I didn't even have to review this case that much because I was so into this case. I was pregnant, and my daughter was just born, but I was I just gave birth. That's what it was. And I remember thinking I could strangle this woman. If I ever, I was so hormonal. And again, you guys, I'm just I would never do that. You guys know me well enough, I think, by now. But I would have a visceral reaction. So let's see what Mark says.
Again, take it for what it's worth. Not necessarily, because
but
that would be.
Let's say that's accident in unconscionable parenting. Unconscionable parenting, but still an accident. All right.
That's technically first-degree murder because one would argue that is aggravated child abuse, and while you're doing that, the child dies. That's first-degree murder. Legally, I don't know. I don't know that they can prove first-degree murder. I think that we heard your other guest talk about one theory. Perhaps they hit the child too hard. Somebody did. And then she covered it up. We heard another theory about chloroform. We've heard a theory about her drowning. The problem is they don't have the proof in terms of cause of death, so the defense can create this wide open scenario however they want. And I don't know if they can combat it.
So you think they're creating reasonable doubt with all these diversions and distractions?
I think so far, yes. And again, we're not talking about how...
What, do you guys agree with that? And I think he's being serious there. Usually I think they go overboard and stuff for TV, but I can remember back then thinking, I can remember saying, if my husband, for example, said, Jane, what do you think happened? I can remember saying, or do you think she's guilty? I can remember saying, if I do, but if I was a juror, I don't think that per the letter of the law, that the case was proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is, I can't believe I'm admitting that out loud, but I knew in my heart and in my head that she did it. And I was like, wait, you were pregnant too? See, meet Kelly Dime. Were you a wild animal when she came on the TV? My hormones would spike or something, and I would get I don't know, this like visceral reaction, but I feel like I have such a close like tie to this case because of that, where like, you know, the same thing with like BK and stuff. That was because I was teaching at the time, or still am, at universities. So you find like this connection, and I feel like that was a connection here. And I had a little girl. I don't know what you end up having, not that it matters either way, you know, if whether it was a boy or a girl, but I think I felt like, because like I could relate, and I was like, and I also, and I've spoken out about this before, my mom and I have had, I mean, we're good now, but we've had turbulent times. And she had turbulent times with her mom. And I can remember a few times my mom like joking around with me and being like, "Oh, Jamie, don't make me call the lawyer and take her from you," like joking. And I'm like, that's not funny. Like, I would never even say that to my kids joking. Like, that's, however, my kids don't have kids yet. So if I ever say that to them, somebody please remind me that I said I would never do that. But I don't think that I would, right? So I like, not even as a joke, I would want my kids to know that they're doing a good job, especially if they were doing a good job. I wasn't pregnant, but I was still a wild animal when she came on the TV, right, April? Exactly. So you don't even have to be pregnant. I didn't know if it was just my hormones or something. I was like, oh my God. So, okay. So let's keep going.
Dr. Drew or Mark Eiglar just feels about it. We're talking about 12 people who claim they haven't been watching this trial. They don't watch Nancy Grace. They don't even know who she is. You know, you're talking about 12 very unique individuals, assuming they're not stealth jurors, and they're the ones somehow who are going to make a decision in this case. Different folks sitting on that jury.
Candace, you have a comment there?
Well, I was just going to say, accident or not, Casey has a big problem ahead of her convincing that jury of anything other than the fact that she was, look, she 31 days before saying anything. Right.
So how interesting is that, you guys? So that's interesting, because what happened is exactly what Mark saw. The profiler was like convinced that, oh wow, that was interesting, right? And that's not what happened. So wait, let's see. There was another. I actually saved a little. Let's see. I have a playlist here that I need. Top Mom. Look, I called it Top Mom. Let's see if we watched all three of the ones I have in here.
Many people have asked me
here we
why
go.
America is so invested in the Casey Anthony murder trial. At first I thought it was because it was something about her. But
this is echoey, you guys, but this is because it's just 100 years old.
The more I looked at the case, the more I now believe it is because many of us feel we've come to know Kelly Anthony. Kelly went missing around June 16, 3 years ago. For nearly a month, no one knew she was missing.
A month.
The only person that seemed to know this was Kelly's mother. The way that authorities were first alerted to this case is Cindy Anthony went looking for her daughter, Casey. She had been out of the home where she lived for nearly a month, and she was found at her living boyfriend's home. When the grandmother got here, there was a big cat fight, a big confrontation. It was only then that the grandmother, Susie Anthony, learns Kelly's been gone for a month.
This is the 911 call on July 15, 2000.
My daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just asked her today that I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it's not like this, that it's a guy with a car.
Many months passed.
Do you guys remember that? And this is the thing. Cindy Anthony was, yeah, I hope people give her the evil eye everywhere she goes too. Cindy Anthony was a nurse. Is there anybody else here? Like, I guess you could be in the medical, you could be in any field. You don't even have to be in a medical field or as a cop or something. But like she was saying, it smells like there's a dead body in the damn car. She tries to like take it back at a later date because she's on the stand, and I definitely give Cindy like such credit, and I give her grace, and I was able to put myself in her shoes at the time, and I can remember thinking like I would have probably done the same thing she did, as far as like she would break down and cry when it came to asking questions about her granddaughter, but she wasn't throwing her daughter under the bus in a way that she probably, now looking back, thinks she deserved, if that makes sense. But I agree I would have done the same thing, I think. I'm not even lying. I don't know how you guys would have done it. But if you remember, Cindy was on the stand saying that she looked up chloroform and or chlorophyll, and that chloroform, it said, what did you mean chloroform? And that's how it came up in the search engine. One of the things, I don't know if people remember, after this was all over, Jose Baez comes out and tells the world, or on Nancy Grace, I believe it was, that the prosecution, my God, you guys, the prosecution had the forensic evidence done from the computer and only downloaded one of the servers. There was a whole nother search, there was a whole nother. So for example, let's say you have, Chrome, but you also have Internet Explorer. They looked up and looked at all your Chrome information, forgot to look up the Internet Explorer one. So they said that on that other browser, that whoever was on that one looked up foolproof ways of taking, someone's life. There was another one, something about strangulation. It was crazy. My heart broke for the parents in the last interview. Their lives are forever destroyed from that day on. 1,000%. Oh, nurse, 33 years. And your husband's a cop. Look at you, Renee. Oh, your kids don't get away with anything, do they? And if they do, you have to come over and pack them up, I'm sure. I used to have the best stomach. I used to volunteer in the operating room for years. I wanted to be a surgeon, everything. And then I gave birth to my daughter. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. It has to be psychological because I don't know how else to explain it, but I get so weak in the knees, even thinking about stuff like that now, that I don't know how. I used to literally stand next to the surgeon and watch him do open heart surgery. Now, Daniel was telling us about how his dog ate his arm, and I bring that up often because I literally can't even describe for you guys. I'll never forget it. I was standing in my living room and I was like, I forget what I was doing. I do forget what I was doing, but I remember being in my living room and he was explaining how, he said that the dog came and he put his arm up to block his wife, and that the dog, and then I just remember about the teeth and then it going down the arm, and then he lifted his arm up to show us, and my imagination is so vivid. I should definitely write a book. For sure. I would be a great, great storyteller. I know I would. My imagination's ridiculous. But my imagination went under the bandages and saw a sliced up arm from dog teeth that I don't even know existed. I just made it up in my head. But that was enough to make me tumble to my knees. And I was like, oh my God. And my daughter said I turned white and she had to get me a glass of water. So I'm telling you, I don't know what happened to me. I don't know if that's normal. I wasn't high. I wasn't drunk. Nothing, you guys. I don't do none of the fun stuff. And, I was like, how does this happen? Oh, Nancy.
Before the remains of her 2-year-old little girl, Kelly, were found just 15 houses from the Anthony home in a heavily wooded area. Cause of death is undetermined due to the decomposed state of the body, but around the little 2-year-old girl's body was found several things from the Anthony home, including bed accoutrement that matched up to Kelly's bedroom, trash bags from the home, duct tape from the home, many other things that can allegedly be traced back to the home. Also, on the home computer.
So wait, on the home computer.
Very damning searches were later discovered through computer forensics. Searches for code words like homemade chloroform. Prosecutors believe that Top Mom chloroformed her daughter and left her to die.
Okay, so real quick over here, the question was, all right, let me see. First let me go back a minute. Let's go back to, I hope people still give her the evil. Oh yeah, that's too far. Hold on. Nurse 3, that's where I was. Okay. That's not a smell that you ever forget. See? That's what I thought. Oh, my heart broke too. Kelly, I have to wonder if she did it to take the attention off her when he was accusing her of rugging the baby. Wait, you'll have to like fill me in. What do you mean? Did what? Chloroform allegedly. Kaylee, is that what you mean? I can understand being torn between child and grandchild. Oh my God, Duke, you can? Dukes? We call it the sandwich generation. So you're in that generation right now. I am not, and I'm not looking, like I do not envy it because I saw my mom do it for years. My grandmom lived till she was 100, and my mom, she had us, and then she had my grandmom. She was like torn in them. I don't know, and then my sister Gina had a kid. We're 10 years apart, so me and my niece are only 13 years. It's just crazy. I'm like, there was just always, and my mom always felt like she was somewhere in that, like she would call herself like the sandwich generation. She would be like, I'm in the middle right now and da da da. But then I look back and I'm like, that's a little bit narcissistic, Mom. You know what I mean? The way she did it, not the way. But you're right. So you're in between where you have, and that must be so hard, right? Because imagine this, and hopefully nobody's kids will ever do this to their grandchildren, but put yourself in Cindy's shoes real quick. Imagine like your grandkids already gone. That's terrible. Already gone. Now she's losing her daughter too. I don't know if I think that Cindy thought she would never talk to Casey again. I know that they still talk sometimes, but I meant like that they wouldn't have the relationship that they had trial. So I wonder like how much of that Cindy was protecting Casey and how much of that was Cindy in denial. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because we're going to look at some of the later things, and Cindy definitely comes around, like she definitely, they come to believe that Casey definitely had something to do with it.
There's been so much media scrutiny of this case for the last 3 years, and probably no one in the media covered it with as much passion or as much controversy as Nancy Grace of HLN. She's with us right now. We're going to go to her in just a second. But first, here's a look back at some of Grace's coverage of the defendant she called Tot Mom.
Tot Mom, Casey Anthony on trial for the murder of her 2-year-old little girl, Kelly. Tot Mom, now going after her brother and father relentlessly. For 31 days, she didn't report her daughter missing. Today, a complete shift in Tot Mom's appearance and demeanor in court, laughing, smiling, joking. You're not going to get a fair verdict every single time you go to a jury. That is the reality. A little girl was murdered. She was thrown to the side of the road like trash and left to rot. Somewhere out there?
Wow.
The devil is dead.
I knew that's what she was just going to say. I should have said it before. I was going to say the devil is dancing tonight. You guys, I watched her so much that it's like part of that's like seared into my memory. Jessica says, he stated in interviews he saw dark circles and bags under Kaylee's eyes and suspected Casey was giving rugs to her and said something about her going something of the sort when Cindy cut him off. The brother? Jessica, tell me more. What did I miss? Yes, and she did get off scot-free for sure. So over here, you guys, with Tot Mom, so funny. I can't believe she just said that. That's so funny. Ready?
The devil is dancing tonight.
I'm definitely doing that. I'm doing the devil is dancing tonight when I get a soundboard thing, and Nancy Grace is going to do the devil is dancing tonight for us. Let's hear it one more time.
The devil is dancing tonight.
And Nancy Grace is right here, right now. Nancy, we were all watching that verdict yesterday. I was sitting with Dan Abrams up in New York. Our jaws both dropped. What was it? What went through your mind?
Well, after watching so many trials, after trying so many cases, prosecuting criminals, I know you take a big risk every time you take a case to trial. Every time you stand up and say what you believe, if you stand for anything, you risk getting mocked, attacked, losing. And that's what happened to the state yesterday. They stood up for something and they lost.
Did you
and
feel
now
like
they're
you
getting
lost?
So this is after the verdict.
That's like I lost? Oh, goodness, no. I feel like who lost is
It's
Oh my
Kelly.
gosh. He just said, do you feel like you lost to Nancy Grace? I never saw this. And how funny is it? She said, did I lose? No, I didn't lose. That is too funny. That just, see, I love Nancy Grace, so I'm not even going to go further on that. But people that have been around long enough know, read between that line. Love you, Nancy.
Because yesterday when I was watching the defense team about a block from the courthouse having a champagne toast and dancing, and one of the defense lawyers shooting a bird at the reporters through the window, all I could think about was Kelly. And that's really all I've thought about ever since I heard the not guilty verdict. I've thought about what she went through at the end of her life. Did she look up at her mother? Was she knocked out with chloroform, I hope, and didn't suffer any fear before she was placed in that car trunk and then thrown out into a swamp to rot? That's what I thought about. And amazingly, I thought about my own twins so much. And last night, when I finally got home, I just went and crawled in bed with them and just laid there, late into the night, thinking about Kelly.
Your anger and your passion showed through.
Guys, how much do you think John David and Lucy, that I know their names, John David and Lucy, who have to be 17 years old right now because they're like 6 months older than my daughter. Yep. I bet you guys are 17. John David and Lucy is their names. And that is too funny. I wonder if they look at this now and they're like, Mom, did you really have to say that on TV, that you came right home and crawled in bed with us?
Through this entire trial, yet you saw the defense team come out yesterday saying that a lot of people in the media have to learn a lesson from this, from what they call media assassination.
Well, apparently there was no assassination because Top Mom is going to walk out of jail probably tomorrow, and she's probably going to get $1 million book deal and maybe $250,000 for licensing fees for photos, and she's going to be living on Easy Street, living the sweet life that she's got tattooed on her back. So I hardly think anybody was assassinated here except for Kelly.
So no second thoughts about any of your coverage?
George, I told the truth. Am I taking the heat for it? Yep. Is that going to make me stop looking for missing children and trying to solve unsolved homicides? No. I'm not going to let some kooky jury stop justice. Not for me, anyway.
Kooky jury?
Yeah. Well, George, come on. Look, I know you're pretty highbrow and all that, but this was a bad verdict. And this is the way our justice system works. We have to believe in it, whether we agree with the verdict or not, and we have to stand by it because it's really all we've got. I know. I was there in the courtroom as a crime victim when my fiancé was murdered. I know how it feels. I know how the prosecutors feel when you are defeated and you feel like you just can't put one more foot in front of the other. But you have to if you believe in anything. And I do. I do believe in something. I believe in justice.
So Jessica, I get what you're saying now. Jessica says that he stated in interviews, the dad, that there were dark circles under Kaylee's eyes and that he suspected that Casey was giving rugs to her and said something about her doing something of the sort when Cindy cut him off. I now get what you were saying. So, do I think that? I think, I don't think I knew that. And I thought I knew everything. I think I remember him saying about the dark circles. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I can remember him saying about suspecting. Did he suspect that maybe she gave her like anxiety medication? So was it like, or did he suspect the chloroform? Do you know? And I know I will always stand with my daughters, but it would be hard if they hurt their kids. That's a hard one. I can't imagine. Oh, 1,000%, right? Oh, Casey made up the child abuse against her to get back at her father for accusing her of rugging Kaylee. Oh, Kelly Dime. Okay. So, no. If you want my opinion, Kaylee used, I can't believe I just said that. Casey used the essay about her dad and he was like playing hardball and he just, Jose Baez, I saw this Kelly Dime says, or no, it was Jessica maybe. Jessica says, Jose Baez is the very reason I hate defense attorneys to this day. And the thing is this, right? Defense attorneys get a bad rap, but we need defense attorneys because everybody has the right to a fair trial, right? With a jury amongst their peers. So, and I would want someone to have a fair trial and to have a good lawyer and for that lawyer to try to do whatever they can to get that person out of it, because I would hope that once I win the case, like if I was trying to convict someone, that would make the case that much stronger. However, you have these other times when this happens where no, instead somebody goes free that we're not sure, but could have very well been responsible. So, so let's see what else it says. I made her turn herself into police. Wait, who? Andrea? I missed that. I don't know what exactly happened to Kelly, but that's just my suspicion. What, that she gave her the chloroform? I did this, like I knew. I don't know the recipe, you guys. I was just saying. Jose Baez, I read that one. Bless you. No justice for Kaylee. Is this trial online? Great question. So, yes, this trial is online. As a matter of fact, let me jump over to this. Ready? So, part of the trial that I do want to show.
Seeing and hearing from Casey Anthony here today.
Well, look, here we go. So, SJ playlist, Casey Anthony complete trial, 74 videos. Wow, look at that, 74 videos. So they have opening art. Wow, whoever did this put a lot of time in, I think. But over here, the one thing, it was, the one I looked at earlier. Oh, here, maybe it was this one. Opening arguments for Baez, I think, is what I'm looking for. Let me see if. All right, ready for this?
And at the end of it, you may find yourselves asking yourselves, after so much time, is that really relevant? Does it answer the question? Does it tell us how Kaylee died? And that's why you're all here today.
Yes, like Andrea.
We're not here to talk about day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. We're not here to talk about
Jessica, there's not only clips. Jessica, if you look here, this is the entire file of the trial. 1 hour and 28 minutes, part 1, day 1. Look, this is just day 1, ready? So there's part 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 parts, day 1. And I'm good at math, so let me try and figure this out real quick. We're talking 3, 4, 5.5 hours. So there's 5.5 hours of just trial for day 1. And then day 2, same, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. Day 2, we have another 5 hours. So it looks like there's 5 hours a day, but you could watch the entire thing. You could also, I think, go back and see if, for clips, like for the, I don't want to say highlights. That's a horrible, that's not what I mean by that. But I mean, you know what I mean, I hope. Where you could see like the main focuses. You have to watch. Oh, Andrea, you didn't see this trial. I think it was also one of the first ones that we had on TV. There was other ones, but this was one of the first ones, like other than like OJ too and stuff. But I mean, this was one of the ones that captivated everyone, and it was on basic cable, so you would run home and turn it on after school or after work, and there was lots of people watching this. It like hit all different demographics. It reminded me of like OJ.
Inappropriate Casey acted, her foolish actions. We're here to talk about, and we're here to find out exactly how Kaylee died. And that's the key issue throughout this entire case. You may get distracted by emotion, and you may get distracted by what some might say reaches the level of bizarre. But you cannot lose focus, and you cannot forget that you're here on a first-degree murder case, a death penalty case, where they want to take someone's life. And that's what we're here for. And you're going to find that this is not a murder case. This is not a manslaughter case. This is not a case of aggravated child abuse. This is none of those things. But you can't be distracted. We all chose you because we thought you were the best jurors to sit on this case. You wouldn't be distracted by emotion that would let the law guide you in making a just decision. The death of a child is a horrible, horrible tragedy.
Bias changed the game.
No one is going to ever say otherwise. But we have to remain focused. We're not the media. We don't have the opportunity to speculate and to draw in viewers and to sensationalize life. And that's what we're going to talk about throughout this trial, is life. some of the happy things, but many of the ugly things that come along with life. And that's what this case is going to be about.
Yep.
Afterwards, I want to talk about forensics. Exactly what reliable forensics you can rely on, and what isn't necessarily science, but more like science fiction. And you'll see that throughout the course of this trial as the state reaches that level of desperation. And then I want to conclude with my parting remarks and tell you where I think, at the very end of this trial, we will end up. Now, everyone wants to know how in the world can a mother wait 30 days before ever reporting her child missing? It's insane. It's bizarre. Something's just not right about that. Well, the answer is actually relatively simple. She never was missing. Kaylee Anthony died on June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family's swimming pool. You're going to hear that Kaylee loved to swim, and Kaylee could get out of the house very easily, and did so on that day.
So this is right here, you guys. Listen up if you haven't seen this. Listen up. So,
we hear about it every day, or once a week, or once every other week. We hear of a story on the news, or we'll see a little blurb on the newspaper about some poor child who accidentally drowned in the family swimming pool. Well, the reason we're all here is because not of the commonality of this tragedy. Well, that's far too, unfortunately, it's far too common. In fact, in the state of Florida, it is the #1 way that children die, is drowning in swimming pools. But what makes this case different, what makes it unique, what makes the reason we're all standing here today, is because not of the commonality, but of the uniqueness of the family that it happened to. You will hear stories about a family that is incredibly dysfunctional. You will hear about ugly things, secret things, things that people don't speak about, things that Casey never spoke about. Come with me to 4937 Hope Spring Drive, where, as you can see, it looks like the all-American home.
oh, here it comes.
In fact, you can drive by any home in the United States and never know what goes on behind closed doors. You never know what secrets lie within. You never know what's going on.
He's so gross.
On June 16, 2008, after Kaylee died,
Here we go.
Casey did what she's been doing all her life, or for most of it, hiding her pain. Going into that dark corner and pretending that she does not live in the situation that she's living in.
So he's going to try and claim, I just don't want to get like copyright strikes, so I have to stop it every now and then. But he's about to claim that Casey has trauma responses where she just, when she gets too like overwhelmed, she just forgets. And that's like, I guess, the excuse for why she lies about everything too. But here we go. In a minute.
She went back to that deep, ugly place called denial to pretend as if nothing was wrong. And you'll see as the evidence comes in that is the most likely conclusion of the evidence. That something's not right here. Something's not right with this girl. You've heard some of it today. Some of it may have been shocking already for you to listen to. But what you don't hear, what you didn't hear, is that Casey was an excellent mother. She took care of Kaylee. That child never went without food, without clothing, without shelter. You won't hear a single person come up here and testify how she was neglected or abused. There's no broken bones. There's no trips to the hospital. There's no moment that would help you determine that this child was abused or anything but loved by all members of the family, especially her mother. The photographs that Ms. Drain-Burdick talked about early on, they were all taken by Casey. Casey adored her child. And you'll see photographs of her room, of her life, and you'll know that this child was loved. but not for a horrible tragedy, a common tragedy, are we all here today. You see, this family must keep its secrets quiet. And it all began when Casey was 8 years old and her father came into her room and began to touch her inappropriately. And it escalated. And it escalated. What does a sex abuse survivor look like? They wear a scarlet letter? They have a tattoo on their forehead? We could all be sitting next to a person who's a
I
sex
couldn't
abuser.
believe he said, do they have a tattoo on their forehead? Because if I was the prosecution, like, I was like screaming at the TV. I can remember being like, no, but she got a tattoo of the beautiful life on her back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was, can you guys believe he said that? And the mom and dad were sitting right in there. And it's not even real. Could you imagine?
Survivor never even know it. These things are kept quiet. And these ugly secrets slowly will come out through the straw. A little bit of a sign here, a sign there, a sign here. And you'll be able to know and see what makes Casey Anthony behave the way she does. Why did she act as if nothing was wrong? She didn't run. She didn't move to California, New York, and say to her parents, sorry, you're never going to see your granddaughter again. That's the easiest thing to do. Instead, she acted as if it never happened. It never even happened. You hear stories of this Zanny the nanny. It's true. For 2 years, she pretended she had a job and pretended she had a nanny. Is that normal?
No.
Is that what normal people do?
Nope.
They get dressed up. They pretend that they're going to work. They have fake emails from work. Well, there was a reason behind this. Something's not right here. And anything Casey could do to protect her child, she did, including living a lie, making up a nanny, making up a job. That's what Casey had to do to live. She wanted to live, she forced herself to live in a world that she wanted to, not the one she was thrust into. And you're going to see throughout this case how some of this evidence came to be. For example, when Casey came home and told her family that she was pregnant, she was to be kept quiet. No one was to know. Why? I hate to say, you'll have to speculate why. Unfortunately, because of the way this case was investigated, we'll never know all the answers.
Well, you guys, that's horrible. He's horrible. Like, how could he do that with a straight face? And again, I know that I just got done saying that we have to make sure that everybody has a good defense. I can't believe, like, I don't know. Could you guys imagine, like, would you guys be able to have a straight face? And I don't know. I would have to, like, think that I was, I don't know, a movie star. I don't know. How would you do it? I don't know if I could. Could you? Wasn't she out partying after Andrea? Oh, was she ever? Oh, was she ever? Yes. Her tattoo was unbelievable. You know what? I remembered the other video that I thought was so important. Do you guys remember?
But it wasn't
Dr.
until she
J?
was 7.5 months pregnant
Dr. J.
did the outside world know
Or
that Kaylee was with Kaylee.
I don't know how to say it. Here she goes. So let's look at this real quick. So she was the medical examiner.
Like a piece of trash.
A young, hard-partying mother accused of being the killer.
I can't believe you said that, Shelly. I had to stop it for this because during the whole thing, I can remember saying that I thought that she was, that she should have gotten a sponsorship from Kleenex because she used the exact same tissue for days. Not days, for like hours. Like she would have the same tissue for like the whole afternoon. And she looked like she was sobbing. And I'm like, that is the most absorbent tissue in my life. Right? Oh. You're right, straight here. But, so I have to stop it. But that reminded me of something, you guys. She was 19 when she got pregnant. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but I did a deep dive years ago on this case. And I can remember that the mom, Cindy, I was so, oh my God, it's all coming back to me now. My master's, I did my whole like thesis and stuff on well, it's on family dynamics, but specifically on inner relationship, interfamilial relationships. So specifically mother-daughter attachments, that's the word I'm looking for. And an attachment by definition is just a strong emotional bond between two people. So when I was looking at Cindy and Casey's attachment, and again, attachment meaning their bond, it was so interesting to me. Cindy she was like in denial about Casey being pregnant until Casey almost gave birth. I think it was someone's wedding or something, like a cousin. And there's a picture of the family, like Casey, her mom and dad, and the brother. And she's clearly pregnant, but she wore like a little like white overcoat thingy, like making it look all petite. And they said that nobody asked. People would like whisper behind, but nobody would ask because they knew that Cindy would lie to them if she had to, I guess. And again, this is alleged. Cindy's messed up, in my opinion, allegedly. Casey, I see what you're saying. And I do think that there was a toxic relationship. I know that I do say about Casey being, having narcissistic traits. I believe Cindy also, in my opinion, allegedly has narcissistic traits. And I think that we see a showdown between her and Casey. And in my opinion, you guys, and I don't know, if this is coming from me as an educator, as a researcher, the psychologist part, the mom part, like I don't know which part of me is getting the feeling, but I feel like this is going to be something more where we see mom and daughter have an enmeshed relationship. So enmeshment is like where you don't know where one person ends and the other person begins. I would often say one of the ways you could think of this is like it's like two different people, but they share the same space, the same air, the same everything. Like it's and share meaning metaphorically. So with enmeshment, you could have a close relationship with all four of your children, but have one enmeshment within the four, where it's the kid probably that's the most emotional, most sensitive, and the parent is often narcissistic traits. And with the enmeshment, this one particular child becomes an extension of that parent in a dysfunctional way. So it's like when the parent looks in the mirror, when you look in the mirror, you see yourself, right? When a narcissistic parent, or even somebody with narcissistic traits, if you want to say it that way, looks in the mirror, they're seeing themselves, but when their kid does look in the mirror, they're seeing the parent to themselves again, right? So everything is seen going back to the parent, and it's all a reflection of the parent. So, and it's not always about the kid, and this is usually an emotional kid that is easily manipulated, because you have to remember, this is a little kid, and we use rewards and punishments to get good and bad behavior. So even down to our seatbelts, right? We all have the annoying ding until we put our seatbelt on. So that's negative reinforcement. They take away the annoying dinging sound as a result of you putting on your seatbelt, which is the behavior that they want you to continue or that they want to reinforce. We do the same thing with the way that we shape behavior in children, young adults, just everybody, but we start this behavior when we're young ourselves. So with that being said, our personality and our behavior shapes depending on these rewards and punishments that we get for our behavior. I think Cindy and Casey had a very toxic enmeshment type relationship. And I think I think Casey was trying to set boundaries, but I don't think that Cindy saw them as boundaries. And you could kind of see this when she's on the phone. You could hear the desperation in Cindy's voice after the 31 days. And in my opinion, this is her sense of loss of control, right? So even when she goes and picks up Casey, and that whole thing, she had to like trick, Casey to get her to even come to the door. So, but she found her. She finally gets her. They're on their way home. And, Cindy tries to regain control of the situation by calling the police station and reporting a stolen vehicle because she took the car. So the mom said that that was her car. She did not give her permission to take the car and that she was reporting it stolen. And then when Cindy calls back and gives that, gives the 911 call where she is clearly just at a loss. You could tell. At the one where she says it smells like there's been a damn body. It smells like there's a dead body in the damn car. That one. And you could just hear, like, she just feels that whole loss of control in that moment. And that's her breaking down there. But I do think we're going to see that it has to do with control. I think that Cindy was able to gain control of Casey by using the things that she had control over. So she was where Casey slept, except for Casey eventually not only sets boundaries, but goes, a step even further and is like, leaves for days and days and for a month, for 31 days. So Casey does show Cindy in the end that she can find a place to stay for 31 days. And according to Cindy at the time, she thought that Casey was with Kaylee too. So to Cindy, it was like, wow, like, I think she started to regret a lot of those behaviors and her not allowing for those boundaries. I feel like every time Casey tried to take that motherly role or be like the leader of her and her daughter, her mom felt out of control and would try to regain control by gaining control over not only Casey but Kaylee as well. And I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way. I think Cindy is an amazing person, actually, and I think that she's come a long way. Her personality, even, like, there's just so many things, and I think she would even say that she's like a different person than she was back then. So, and a lot of that, I think, has to do with learning and just seeing how things wind up playing out in the end, and it's just really a shame to see. But I do think that Cindy would have taken Kaylee away, absolutely, if given the opportunity. Okay, so yes, hold on. I think I see things that I'm agreeing with over here. So let me just go back a little bit. Okay, so I wonder how Casey could afford to hire Jose Baez. So this is the thing. Jose Baez back then wasn't Jose Baez. He was just Jose Baez, right? So what I mean by that is he was new back then. So he had done a few things, but I think, in my opinion, this is the case that blew him up. So I wouldn't be surprised if even Cheney Mason and all them, they were a lot of money. I think a lot of them allegedly did it pro bono for whatever reasons. I mean, I don't know, pretty privileged. They thought she was innocent. I'm not sure they wanted notoriety. The jury's out. I'm not exactly sure that I could answer that, or that they would answer it honestly, to be honest with you. I do want to thank, if they're still here, Basic Old Broad, and I love that name, Basic Old Broad, and Dark Rose for subscribing. If you guys could please hit subscribe and like, that really does help a small creator like me that only has a few. I'm like still in single digit numbers, so let's get me up to double digits, you guys. So everybody please try and hook me up by sharing and liking and all the things to get me out there. Okay, I wonder. Okay, it says, Kelly, I actually heard part of that call and found Casey's tone to be callous. Oh, has anybody here not heard the call? And uncaring towards Kaylee, 1,000%. Cindy was more of a mother to Kaylee than Casey was. Yes, I agree with you, and I think that that's why Casey was able to, and this brings me full circle. I think we're going to find that Casey was able to take it a step further, and it was like, you're not getting my daughter, and that's it. And that's just my opinion, and we're all allowed to have an opinion, right? She didn't care for her. I wouldn't be surprised if she had been using Kaylee to manipulate her parents. So this is the thing. I think that she definitely was a form of manipulation, 1,000%. Especially because Casey knew that she could use Kaylee to get to the mom, right? In my opinion. Did you ever see the interview where Cindy was talking about putting Kaylee up against the pool jets? No. No. What was that about, Case? I don't know how well known Jose Baez. Yeah, that's what I said. Casey Marie, I think the whole family has an issue with myself. Casey probably treated Kaylee the way Cindy treated her and resented the fact that Cindy was more loving with Kaylee than with her. Ding, 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 ding. A+, A+, A+ for Jessica. I'm going to see if I can make like an award thing over here, and you're going to get the, yeah, I should be able to. In class, I give like little, like I give candy and stuff. I do all kinds of things in my class. So I do it here. You would get an A+ right now. You would get candy. An airhead probably. That's what students tend to like. But I'm like, I usually start the semester out with Smarties, and then I realized that they don't take offense. They're not thinking that I'm calling them airheads. They would just rather have the airheads because I get them from Sam's Club, so they're like the big ones. They love them. Let's see. Yes, I totally agree with you, Jess, and I think that that's exactly what happened. And I think that's what I'm saying. So I think not only is that what happened, but I think that Kaylee was manipulation for Casey, like you were saying, to the point of where it went to the ultimate, right? And whether, I think that we all try to think of, not all of us, but that a lot of us try to think of, the most reasonable thing, this, that, and the other. It's really hard to think of people as having like a very callous part of their personality. But when you see, like, if you go through the hours and hours and hours of video of this one over here, Miss Casey Anthony, there's so much information and data that you can get from it. Let's see what else we have here. I could totally see that. I forgot about that. It was so cringe. Yes, this is the case that made him famous. Wait, what are we talking about, Case? It said you saw it too, Callie. Oh no, what did we say, Callie? What did I miss? All right, let me keep going. As they both used her against one another as a pawn. Jessica, you get another A. On another note, it's ironic you have the same name as Casey Murray. Do you want to know what, Jess? I thought the same thing. I think it might have been in, was it DT's chat? Were you ever at DT's, Casey? I don't know, or maybe it was in my own chat, but I saw your name and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I got like goosebumps. I was like, Casey Murray. And the other weird thing, and I just got goosebumps again, is because 1111 are angel numbers, right? But it's also that's the numbers that my husband, it reminds him of his mom. She like passed when she was 48 of breast cancer and all, but she died on 11/11 at 11/11, all the 11s. So the fact that it said it all together, I get goosebumps when I see it. So it's funny you just said that. Despite sharing a name with her, thankfully we have zero income invested to our name. Oh, in common. I was like, wait, income, zero income. I was like, no, do we have to start like a GoFundMe? In common. Gotcha. It's really disheartening. This woman tarnished a beautiful first and middle name as Casey Marie. Sounds lovely to me. Oh, I love that. You guys are so funny. Casey Marie is all right. Is her middle name Marie too? I knew Kaylee's was Kaylee Marie, but I wasn't sure. Yep. Yeah. That's so funny. Like, no, you psycho. It's absolutely not normal. You guys are so funny. This is the case that made him famous. I forgot when I said that. Then he wrote a book. Isn't that right? Right, Renee? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So cringe. I believe George and Cindy Anthony love Kaylee, but I don't trust a single one of them at all. I think they're all weird and they all lie. So, Casey, this is the thing. This is what I would tell you. I watched all of the coverage from start to finish. I would say that as somebody who has a master's and a bachelor's in behavior, human behavior, this is the thing. I totally agree with you. There are so many, secrets in this family and weird family dynamics. But I do not 100% in my whole heart, I do not think these grandparents did anything. And I think almost, maybe you guys could see this too, I feel like this baby, that the reason it wound up being okay at 19 for Casey to have this baby, and the reason it was okay for her not to have a dad too, that gave Cindy more control over the outcome of that baby, and that baby was a new opportunity to do the things right this time. And we all tend to do that. That's like intergenerational transmission of just behavior, right, until we learn a different way. So it's just interesting that we do see that. So what else do we have here? But I do think although weird and secretive, that there's no malice, that they haven't, that they didn't do anything at all. Yes, so Casey, when a parent kills a child during a custody dispute, absolutely, that's that type of off the hinge type where, somebody explodes, if you will, for lack of a better term. But you guys also have to remember, she did get found not guilty, but if she did do this, we're talking about yet another filicide. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but filicide, I took notice, and filicide has been at the core of more than half of the cases that I've covered on this channel. More than half. Probably more than 3/4 of the cases that I covered. Travis Decker, Chris Watts, Travis Decker, this one most likely, possibly, allegedly. There's so many. Yeah, I almost said another one, but we're not sure what that one. Let's see. It feels like Casey never had a bond with Kaylee that seemed maternal or loving, and just wanted her as a tool for validation and control over her parents, and got her controlling tendencies from Cindy. Jessica, are you in my class? Did you have me? See, Casey, you did come from DT originally. You guys, my memory is stellar. Casey Marie, they were just enablers with Casey's behavior regarding Kaylee. Yep, George allowed both of them to use Kaylee in the war between each other and never took a stand for his grant. Jessica, I could punch you right now. You're so good. And just so you guys know, whenever us Italians want to inflict pain like that, it's usually loving, yeah. I meant that in a loving. When we say, like, I want to bite your face type thing? Jess, you're killing it. The grandparents loved Kaylee, but they failed her, and they cared more about protecting Casey than that little girl. Jess, I can't with you. You got it. That's absolutely right. And Kelly completely agrees. I don't trust anyone in this family, but I don't believe George or Cindy harmed Kaylee. Casey was the... Yes, there you go. Me too. Thanks for being here. Oh, yes, thanks for being here, everybody, and please like and subscribe. I agree, Jess. Yeah, I think, Jessica, you get, like, the winner award. I don't know what we're winning, but you won. Whatever the one is, you won. So good for you. Let's see what we have here. I believe this is why Ellie looks at the parents first. Oh my gosh, you guys, how about I didn't realize that you couldn't see me that whole time. Look, it's not even off. I just had it. You can't do that on StreamYard. Like, everything's set up in a certain way, and you have to, like, now there are a lot of things I will say either way, so I'm not like talking crap one over the other. But I didn't realize that my face was covered that whole time. Okay, so let's go back to Dr. G real quick. Now, why didn't you call 31 days ago? Was there never a truer statement? So, just in case anybody doesn't know, this is the prosecutor, Jeff Ashton, is that his name? But he's the prosecutor, and although he did a great job, he fell short in that he did not give enough down charges. So it was like an all or nothing type case, and he never told them how they thought she died. They said that they thought about the chloroform, but they never went through and gave an idea of how, why, what, when. He didn't answer those questions, which is why I think that they came up with a not guilty verdict. What is she wearing? Is she serious? Where's her clothes? Why does he have those poppy things on? I never noticed that. Did anybody see this? Who does he think he is? What's happening? I can't with these two. Them too, but I will say something over here. I did see. So, I think it was Casey. She was such a beautiful little girl. It bothers me so bad when people take out their kids, especially as someone who struggled with fertility issues. I'm sorry you struggled with fertility issues. I hope you figured, something out for you and your family. Or that you still are. I don't know where you are in that process. Let's see, what else do we have here? She should have given her up for adoption. Oh, she wanted to, right? And Cindy wouldn't let her? I forgot about that. Wait, what? 20. Yeah, she would have been 20? That's right. My daughter, my 17-year-old, was just born or whatever when she died. So I'm thinking 17. But no, it's 20. Yeah, bubble wrap, Harlot. What the frig? Are you kidding me? Bubble wrap. I'll pop you. I'll pop you one, cuz. I'm going to let Thor out. I can't believe Thor went this long without bothering me, you guys. Not bothering me. I love him. You know what I mean. But I'm going to put this one in my egg open the door for him. What he found is that it was considered new science, and the judge will say it that he considered it new science, the science in the trunk with the chloroform, and how they were able to say that, how they were, I believe, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but there was a container that they were able to save. This is going to sound ridiculous. They were able to suck in, with a vacuum, if you will, the contents in the air of the trunk into a jar that was able to be opened during, or wasn't it something it was able to be open for the jury or something, where it supposedly still, it should have had the smell in there of the chloroform. I don't know. All I know is that it was very, very new science, and that I remember the judge being all for it as new science, but I also remember Jose Baez and that team really criticizing it, calling it junk science. Oh, wait, stop it. Right? With the, I can't. Yes, that was bubble wrap. Who does that? Seriously, I can't. Oh, and then, yeah, that's her. That is 100% her in an actual American flag. She's got star stripes and selective amnesia, this bitch. Oh, sorry. Did I say that? Sorry, Jesus. But he noticed that that was
Chief investigator.
And he already said, Steve, we found
hold on. There you go. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. I want you guys to hear that again. When they called and she went, oh God, like she went, oh my, or whatever she just said. But usually you wouldn't hear that. Usually the 911. I believe that she was found so close to the home. And I also hear Jessica and Casey and stuff. Thank you guys so much for sharing so much and being so vulnerable. That's what makes my chat and my memberships even, and just so anybody knows, if anybody ever wants to be a member, I only make it $1.99 so that I can make it affordable for whoever wants to join. And I promise, and you guys, I only have like 4,000 subs, almost 4,500, but just saying. But if I someday have 1 million, I promise I will still keep $1.99 membership so that people could still join. Everything I do in my life is about equity and making sure everybody has a fair shot. So, and I always tell people, if you really want to be a member and you're having a hard time and you can't, do it that month or whatever, but you really, really want to, contact me on the side and I will Venmo you the $2 if I have to, even though I only get I think it's I don't know, YouTube takes 40% or something crazy, but I'd still do that for you because I really want people to feel like we're a big family here. What do we have here? Oh, you guys, I had this whole thing. Wait, look, I just have to show you this because you know how I let Thor out? Well, I was playing around with the different scenes and stuff, and look at this, ready? Boom. Isn't that cool? Hee hee. I'm such a nerd. Such a nerd. But yeah, that was my break scene. So, what are you guys saying? Yeah, so close to the house. Oh, there goes the dog again. But I think that's so important, you guys, because they were trying to say, and the defense tries to do this to a trial, they try to say that Roy Kronk, the one that found the remains, that he could have had something to do with it, which I think is just a terrible thing to do. And it's another reason why people don't want to get involved ever with anything, because it's why get involved with things? You're going to get blamed for it. You're going to get called a liar. So, and Roy does, he gets blamed for it or gets called, accused. And thank God they saw through with the jury, but still, that wasn't cool. I think the other reason that made it look bad with Roy Kronk is that he goes and he literally, you guys, found these remains. I think it was a month or so after she went missing. Or no, we didn't even know till a month later. It was a month or so after she was reported missing, which was already a month after that. He found something. He swore he did, but he called it in and nobody went and looked, or they went and looked, but they said they didn't see anything. Here, he then sees it again, and I believe, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 times he had called, but he calls again or something, and it winds up raining and stuff. So, they went through their rain season, and it wasn't until after that he then has to go to the bathroom, and he said it was still bothering him, and he went over there, and again, he calls. So I think he made himself look suspicious because he didn't call it in one time. He called it in more than once, and they were in different months. It wasn't even 2 days after one another type thing. So I could see that, but I felt bad because it was a scapegoat. Oh no, did I just get suspended my stream? Oh no, you guys, I don't think I could play this one. Oh geez. Everything was going good until I put on Dr. G. Hold on, let's take Dr. G off. I don't want to get in trouble. No, but I think it stopped it. Yeah. Well, I noticed it. How weird is this, Harlot? I happened to look down on my phone because I was looking at something and I had it up and I saw Dr. G on my phone, like on my YouTube there, and then all of a sudden, I just went on it and I see her face, and then I seen it went to stream unavailable, but it still says it's unavailable, I think. Oh no, wait, is it back on? It might be back. That's unbelievable. That is so ridiculous. I wonder how long it was off for. I guess 15 minutes. I don't know. Hold on. It was only a few minutes, so that's good. That's good. That's unbelievable. That's so annoying. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, you guys, that's the good thing. So, okay, so when I went on with, who did I go on? Mark the Shark. We watched 2 videos with D4VD, and it took us off twice. I couldn't believe it didn't like completely, drop the whole stream. But I believe it wasn't very long. Oh wait. Did it drop my whole stream? Oh no, it says it only went down for like a minute or so. I hope. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. I think it dropped the whole thing. Oh no, you guys. Yeah, because it just dropped everybody down to like 10. Well, that sucks. So this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to use that as a, the exact same thing happened. It wasn't all very long. I wrote, oh no, like 2 seconds after it went back. I literally caught it immediate, Harlot. You don't think it was a full minute? I don't either. How weird was that? See, you guys, I was good today. I was on point. On point. Okay, well, can you guys do me a favor and help me out by sharing it to something or making sure that we, it said stream unavailable because it hit you for copyright. Hopefully it'll be something where we hang up right now that I could go back in and just cut the last minute or so out. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, isn't that annoying, Harlot? But when I did it with Mark the Shark, there was 2 of them, and yeah, the same thing happened to us there. But then that sucks because we don't even get paid very much, and the AdSense, it'll like not let AdSense run, so then it like takes away like the $15 you would have made. It's just annoying. Ugh. Anyway. Well, we'll have to see what happens. Isn't that annoying? That annoys me. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get upset over it. Okay, you guys. I don't know how to get this off right now, so. There's a picture of Bella and Cece Watts, and they're both wearing pajamas. My daughter had the same 2 nightgowns, and it totally freaked me out. Yeah. Yeah, I cut it out from the other night too, but they still demonetized it. It just sucks. Okay, so I don't know what you guys are doing or what you're up to. I wasn't really that tired yet, but maybe I'll go take a break, and if I can't fall asleep, because I've been sleeping off and on because I've been sick, maybe I'll come back and talk about Cece and Bella for a little bit. Or Mackenzie. No, maybe. We'll see what happens. What, do you guys have a preference? Is anybody awake still? You guys going to bed? I'll never forget someone said, YouTube's 24/7. I was like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. Oh, thank you, Glenda and Dark Rose and Hippie for becoming subscribers. Thank you. Thank you, Glenda. All right, you guys, I'm going to end this stream before I cry. And I'm going to go get myself together. put on my big girl pants and see if I could come back. It's just exhausting because you work really hard. No, Case, they'll put out like a yellow thing on there, like, so they'll say that it's like limited ads. It's just annoying. It's annoying. It's not like a strike, I don't think, I hope. But it's one where they like demonetize you, which is just annoying because you could spend hours getting ready for a live. And then they take away the couple dollars that you would have made. So it's annoying. I'm just sick, you guys. Ignore me. All right. So I'm going to go get myself together and then we'll see. If anybody's awake and you want to come join me, let me know. And let me know who you want to go over. And I'll just wing it. And we'll see what happens. It is frustrating. I know it's fair use. It's just annoying. All right, you guys. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great. And don't pay attention to me right now. I'm just tired and I can't sleep. And I don't feel great. And it's frustrating. All right. It was great seeing all of you, though, and being here with you. And I just know for next time